Cold open, Alice.
Cold open.
No more Matthew Sweet. Gone. We're going. Well, let me just tell you how that all started. I had originally my own band's music from 20 years ago that I was using, and then one of my kids spilled a drink onto that MacBook Air, and that was it. And so I had to last minute switch to Matthew Sweet, to the intro that we usually use.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're going to be probably moving our stuff to a different platform, which won't mean anything for you guys. Nothing will change. But it just means that if we're going to monetize some of the stuff, we can't be griping other people's music for the time being.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? But, okay, so this is where I want to start tonight, Allison, okay?
All right, let's go.
2 weeks in a row, although, unfortunately, I'm going to have to clean this up afterwards. No, you know where I want to start tonight? Is our friends who we had over yesterday from Melrose.
Yeah.
Our good friends. One of them I made a reluctant Twitter star, which became a meme from, the theme became Jared Carabas. But anyway, I'm shocked, and I'm not going to give you his name, but he is a guy who has worked since he was a teenager and worked a lot in food and beverage. He's been a bouncer, like he's worked at a pizza place. He's done everything in hospitality, going to college and this and that, etc. But yesterday we went out to lunch. Where was it? The Blue Port? What's it called? Portal?
The port side?
The Port Side, yes. The Port Side in Salisbury. It's a cool place. Very cool place. And he kept asking the waitress what she suggested. Like, what's good and what do you suggest? And what should I have as far as, like, food? And we happen to have the world's most indifferent waitress. She was good, but she, like...
She wasn't looking to make new friends.
She wasn't opting in. She was like, I don't really eat any of this stuff. She was like... But anyway, but she was good. She was a good waitress, and she was, she was Johnny on the spot with everything. It was great. But I'm just astounded that people ask people in the service center, what are you doing? I mean, I'm not yelling at you in particular. You know who you are. But the server doesn't care if a sniper's bullet pierces your skull right there at the table and you slump down dead. Most likely, they'd be happy. They just want to process the guests, the eaters, and get on with their lives and get tipped. They don't care about what do you think is good. So when you enter the song and dance, they're not going to...
Well, sometimes they do have good suggestions. When I go to places where my friends work, they tell me what to order. I don't ask, but like I taught you the thing at Marky's because somebody told me that you should dip the fried scallops in the melted butter. And you should order that way. And that was a brilliant suggestion.
There is no useless butter conversation. There's no useless conversation around drawn butter.
That was a great suggestion, and that was a suggestion from somebody who worked in the building.
No, I understand. But that's different than saying, I'm not sure what I feel like. What's good? Or how's the BLT here? Is it like... They don't care. They're not going to tell you the truth. They don't care. When I used to work...
That person is a good conservative girl, by the way. You can send me your application via DM, but...
Sorry, I have a terrible cold.
Sorry.
It's behind my right eye at the moment.
If you're interested in people who recommend drawn butter, dipping things in drawn butter.
Yeah. But, like, when I used to bartend at weddings, I mean, by that time, I had processed a lot of people in my hospitality career, and I was severely burnt out. But still, people would say to me, like, when I was bartending, people would say, first of all, they'd tap in the bar, and look at the booze and say... So, what do you like to make? And in my head, I'm like, you know what I like to make? I like to make me putting 2 shotgun shells into a shotgun and blowing your brains out right now. That's what I like to make. If you really want to know what I like, that's what I like, okay? If you really want to know. Because I don't care about what do I shut up. What do I like to make?
This reminds me of the conversation a few months ago on the socialists on Twitter were arguing about whether there would be restaurants anymore under full socialism or if that would be like a thing that would go away. And some of the people were like, there are people who just love serving food to people. So like, I'm sure someone would want. I was like, no, you guys have to realize that the reason why people work at like McDonald's is because somebody pays them to work at McDonald's. Sorry. Hate to break it to you.
I'm at a wedding on a Saturday night at 10 p.m. I'm like 30 years old. I'm like, what do you like to make? It's like, I like to make enough money so that I never have to see somebody like you ever again. And I can stop doing this, and I can go live a happy life. What do you like to make? Like to make? How detached from real life would you be to really think somebody likes to make anything? God, if you ask the bartender what they like to make, I believe in my America that they have the right to stab you.
But that's different from just asking somebody who works there for a recommendation, because a lot of times they know what's good and what's not.
Never ask anybody anything. When I was a concierge, and this is the thing that drove me right out of hotels and right into radio. People would say, they wanted the inner scoop. So they'd say, hey, we don't want to go to the tourist places that we see everybody's going to the Union Oyster House or going here and there. Where would you go?
Oh, yeah. I got that when I worked in Faneuil Hall, too. And I wasn't even a concierge. But if you work in Faneuil Hall, like, people just treat you as a concierge.
They're like, where would you go if you were going out tonight? They read that in some Fodor's book or whatever. Ask a secret question. Ask them where they might go. You'll get the inner scoop. Like I'm withholding. This whole time I knew the best places, but I just want to send them to the tourist traps.
Time.
Hold on. I'm not done with this.
Okay, go ahead.
Like, where would I go? Truly, where would I go? I would go outside. I would smoke some marijuana. I would get drunk at the Littlest Bar, and I'd try to hook up with some trashy chick from Quincy. That's what I would do. And then after she leaves my apartment, then I'd go in the closet and hang myself. So that's what I would do if you're so interested in what I want to do. Mm-hmm. God, terrible.
One time in Faneuil Hall,
a lot of wives would not just be right over that, Alice. That's fine. Oh, what would you do? The secret thing. I'll let you in on the inside secret. I wasn't going to tell you this, but now since you asked, buddy to buddy. Ugh.
When I worked in Faneuil Hall, these two girls who were here from somewhere asked me.
This was at a clothing store.
Yes, I worked in a clothing store in Faneuil Hall, but obviously, like 99% of the people in Faneuil Hall at any given time are like tourists. So, I did a lot of like telling people where to find the Freedom Trail and like telling them to go to Mike's Pastry.
Alice, I'm getting PTSD pangs. Don't mention the Freedom Trail.
Oh my God, Mike's Pastry, amazing, so worth it. Like
they all come on.
I have all like
the come in with the little white boxes with a string. Like
I know. And so, if somebody's been to Mike's Pastry, is it amazing? Don't. Yeah, but you have to. You're trying to sell people.
So I would occasionally.
But that's why I was angry a lot then.
And this is my own back of the house. I would occasionally have to bring flowers to a room. And so, you know what happens when you walk around with flowers? You have 85,000 people. And these are people who work at the hotel who I know, or other people say, if you walk past them, oh, for me, you shouldn't have. For me, you shouldn't have. Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much. All the same joke. I have to walk through the sales office to go to room 214, and every dumb sales assistant chick says, you shouldn't have. Oh, my goodness. Oh, for me. God. Yeah. Maybe in your funeral, I'll bring you flowers.
Do you want to hear the end of my story, what they asked me? They said they wanted to go to a bar, but a real Boston bar in Southie, like a real Boston bar, like in a Ben Affleck movie.
Yeah. Great.
I sent them to Stadium because I didn't think they really wanted to
That is absolutely not a real Boston bar, but that is a Tom Shattuck, Alice Shattuck.
Yes, but I think it's not a real Boston bar, but I didn't think they really wanted to go to a real Boston bar. If they were saying a real Boston bar like in a Ben Affleck movie, I didn't think that they actually wanted to go to a real Boston bar.
Yeah, but you know what they mean. I mean, that literally they wanted to go to the L Street Tavern if they wanted to go to a Ben Affleck bar. But
I also didn't want them to get killed by anyone. So,
I used to want them to get killed. So I was, it was different. Did I ever tell you about the guy who took the tour bus?
No.
To get hookers?
No.
When I worked at the Cambridge Hotel, and I was a doorman at this time. and a big leaf peeping bus pulls in. So
leaf peeping. Yes. Like there's actually buses that people take. Like here, I knew in like Vermont they did that. They do.
Well, they take it from here to Vermont.
Oh, okay.
And back, and they spend all day looking at the leaves. So anyway, but believe me, Alice, going through my mind always when my job was to unload the leaf peeper bus, and make sure that because they're going to go out early the next morning.
Do you even like believe in leaves?
No, I always thought to myself, should I unload this bus or simply go and hang myself in the closet? It was always a toss-up. So anyway, I'd unload the leaf peeping bus, and I was already. I mean, this is like early. I was only like 21 at this time. And people all excited about the leaves, and whatever. I was not, I'm not excited about the leaves, so that's fine. But anyway, the driver of the bus, after we unload everybody, and they're all out going into the hotel, tipping minimally, the driver of the bus says, there's a black guy. He says, "Hey, where can I get hookers around here?" And I said, I'm not sure. I mean, I know there are...
Is that a normal question concierges get a lot?
I was the doorman at the time.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, kind of. I mean, not usually by the bus driver. I mean, this guy's like on the clock. But so I was like, I think if you go in Chinatown, but what are you going on foot? He's like, no, I'm taking the bus. You're taking the bus? I said, I don't think you can take this bus into Chinatown and look for a hooker. I think this bus is too big. And I said, I'm not sure really where to tell you to go for it. He goes, where's the black section? And I said, oh, like Roxbury, Mass? And he said, yeah. Is that like where a lot of black people live in Boston? And I was like, yeah, I think so. I guess so. And he goes, just point me there. And I said, okay. So go over the road here. It was really on the same street because the Longfellow Bridge goes right into Cambridge Street, which turns into Tremont Street, which goes into a diverse neighborhood. So the dude takes his bus, goes to to like Roxbury or Dorchester, fills it up with hookers, has a night of his life, and the next morning he's back there loading the bus up with senior citizens. Going to leaf peep. On your left, you'll see some early stage maples.
So did he also give the guided directions to the leaf?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, like, isn't he nice? Like, yeah, I guess so.
Oh, I don't even know.
We also used to have a hooker who used to come to the hotel all the time. Who?
Like with clients?
She would meet clients. Foreign businessmen used to stay at the hotel in Cambridge. And I'm not going to say because I don't want to get in trouble because George Floyd died. But they came from somewhere in the South Pacific.
Okay.
A booming island of business. And these guys just had a thing for big American buxom blondes. And they loved them. And so they would check in during the day. Their suitcases used to weigh 1,500 to 2,000 pounds each. They would either stiff us or give us $1. They would all get safe deposit boxes or safety box, as they would say. Sometimes they go to the front desk and just say safety box, and they wouldn't say like you say, are you checking in with your first safety box? That's all they would say. Anyway, but the safety box crowd loved buxom American prostitutes, so we had this one girl who was like 22 years old. So the book on her supposedly was that she was going to Harvard, which was down the street. And she would come in, and she would toss us the keys because she would park right up front. She was beautiful. She would park right up front. She was very sweet and nice, and she'd go up and be down exactly 30 minutes later and, tip us out and drive. Remarkable. All right. This has been a rather tawdry show so far, Alice. Maybe it's the way you're dressed. It's
I'm sorry.
I like that you're apologizing because I'm an animal. And I have a cold, and so I want all customers dead. Okay.
Not even like customers now. Like you don't have to deal with the customers anymore, but you're upset about it.
I'm still angry, Alice. I still get it. Sometimes when I worked in my last station, and even at the Herald a couple times, people would ask me for directions.
Oh, I remember in our early dating days, I got lost. You wanted me to drive somewhere, me, and I needed directions, and you were mad on the phone. No. I think you hung up on me.
Yeah, I did. A place like Boston,
I didn't know that was a trigger for you.
That's a trigger for me. I've given directions so many times, especially to a place like in Boston, like the Parker House Hotel, which was just mentioned, as a matter of fact. The Parker House Hotel was just mentioned on Kirk's show. Who was mentioning it? Do you remember it?
I remember somebody said it, but I don't remember the context. No, I'm sorry. We've been in a whirlwind of like binge watching Kirk and various Kirk spin-off shows this week.
I'll be attending a show tomorrow morning. I don't know if he hasn't promoted it. I'm not going to promote it either until tomorrow. But I'll be on a podcast tomorrow that we taped today. Nice 2-hour-long conversation, Alice. Divulge Shattuck secrets.
I don't like that.
I know, but
loose lips sink ships, honey.
I know. All right, so I'm going to play a little bit of Bill Maher here. Another good monologue. I apologize for my freaking cold. Another good monologue. This is the second half of his monologue. He slammed Republicans, and now he's going to slam Democrats. The Republicans, I'm sorry for my nose. The Republican slamming, he just said essentially, like, you guys don't like anything about your country. And it's like, plays clips of Lauren Boebert and whatever. And like, that's not exactly your, garden variety Republican, but I get it. Fine, whatever. But the Democratic part, I think, is funny. You can call me biased, whatever. So here we go.
Too many liberals give the impression that to them, America's just a big, ugh. The red, white, and ew.
Hold on.
A country that started out bad and will always be bad.
Hold on,
Founded
Bill.
on an unreal.
Because I was on that interview today, I turned off the USB through, so it's not coming through. But I caught it. Hooray, ready? Hold on.
That we're living in. For all the talk about fighting for the soul of America, nobody seems to like it very much. Too many liberals give the impression that to them, America's just a big, ugh. The red, white, and ew. A country that started out bad and will always be bad, founded on an unrelenting history of sucking and unable to change. But we have changed a lot. Democrat Cori Bush tweeted, "This land is stolen land and black people still aren't free." And this was on the 4th of a lot.
Okay, can you listen now?
Yes, I was listening.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Cyril, eat that one, and then tomorrow I'll get more, okay?
If you stir it up, there's fruit on the bottom. We're having a yogurt crisis.
Okay.
Democrat Cori Bush tweeted, "This land is stolen land and black people still aren't free." And this was on the 4th of July. Really? Not that I give a shit about the 4th of July. I've never been a rah-rah guy. But I am a perspective guy. And that's what too much of the left has lost. Perspective. 72% of black people under 30 are optimistic about their future in America. Way more than white people the same age. And as far as the land goes, yes, I guess we could change the name of Captain America to Captain Stolen Land. But honestly, to all the people who start every public event now with one of those land acknowledgments where they say, "I'm standing on land that was stolen from the proud indigenous people of the Chumash tribe," I say either give it back or shut the fuck up.
There we go.
AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin the fun.
No kidding.
Congressman Jamal Bowman says capitalism is slavery by another name. No, it's not. It's the thing that has given more people more prosperity and hope than any other system, flawed though it surely is. But again, something like the free market is kind of synonymous with America. And if you don't like it, I don't know how you can say you love this country. You know who loves this country? You know who's not constantly complaining about what happened 200 years ago and who's not obsessed with seeing America through shit-colored glasses and shaking off the stench of what irredeemable, privileged assholes we are? Immigrants. Ask any of them why they came here, and they will tell you the same thing. Ron DeSantis put me on a plane. But they will also tell you that America, for all that's so shitty about it right now, is still the last best hope. And those people asking for our votes to take it over should remember that.
There we go. Pretty good, huh?
Right. I mean, and I think that he's absolutely 100% right, that the left can't come from like the patriotism place when they say stuff like this about America, and they expect us to believe this line about, protecting democracy and saving our country from fascism and all this stuff, that it's hard to take seriously when they go on and on about how they hate America. Don't talk to me about how seriously you take our democracy when you say that we're like an evil country that's oppressing people, right? How can that be the argument that you're making right now, right? And that is what they're trying to say.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, it's, he's really made a lot of progress on this stuff for the way he's been saying some things. I mean, he is still going to remain a progressive, I'm pretty sure, but...
Well, yeah, but the people here, I mean, like, they're going to strangle democracy to death to save it, in theory, right? Like, they're so authoritarian now. And I mean, in states like Massachusetts, so we were talking to people about, normally in Massachusetts towns, I don't know how it works other places, but you... the city committees or the town committees, the Republicans and the Democrats, each recommend people to be on the Board of Elections to help manage the elections and make sure things are fair. And the town is supposed to take recommendations from both political parties so that like everybody's involved in the process and knows that it's fair. Well, just yesterday we were hearing a nice little story about a town where they wouldn't take the recommendations of the Republican City Committee because they didn't feel that the person stringently enough believed that Trump lost in 2020, and they were concerned that that person was going to like screw up the elections and mess it up. This is a totally moderate person, but just because she's a Republican, they didn't want her there.
Well, if you watched... I listened to all the Sunday shows today, and this is a theme of all of these Sunday shows. Chuck Todd says, and Stephanopoulos says, well, there are people who literally want to change democracies and are running for AGs in different states, etc., and literally want to circumvent our election process. And so idiots in the local level are saying, oh, George Stephanopoulos just said a thing, so it's got to be true, so let's purge all the Republicans.
Well, yeah, but they're doubling down on this so hard, and I didn't really get a chance to watch much on the Sunday shows, but I had one of them, I had MSNBC on this morning just to hear what people were saying, and in the bottom of the screen was this graphic that was countdown to special coverage Wednesday of the January 6th hearing. Aren't we done with this? Stop with these hearings. It's the longest running show that no one asked for. It's so absurd, but they're treating it like it's still this big thing. And they literally, like I'm saying, they want to boot the Republican Party out of everything. And in states like Massachusetts, they can and will. They're saying basically that the people who, like Trump or who even just are normal Republicans are a threat to democracy and cannot therefore be allowed to participate in the democracy. You can't elect this. We can't allow this person to be elected because they're a threat to democracy. Well, I thought democracy was people electing people.
But also the impetus for a lot of consternation and unrest in 2020 was people on the right feeling like the election process is corrupted.
Right.
So now you're making sure that they think it's corrupted.
Yeah, because you're not letting them. And I said to the person who told us the story, basically I'm not a big election is stolen person, especially in Massachusetts. I just don't we have to convince people of our point of view first, because a lot of, they don't need to steal the elections in Massachusetts generally, because there's a lot of people that vote blue, right? There just are. And so you have to change some of those people's minds before you can complain about the election being stolen. But that being said, we now have mass mail voting. We just got our mail-in ballot applications today, or not today, but earlier this week. And we got the mail-in ballot applications for the people that lived here 4 years ago as well. So that's good.
So let's vote.
So we can vote for 4 people now.
That's great. I'm going to.
So, and I don't know how that's possible because I certainly haven't listed them on our census when I've returned our census form. Yeah, no, I don't think we got it in 2020. I don't know why we got their ballots this year, but it's astounding to me that would be happening under this system. And it's so bad. Like, I hear so many stories of people getting extra ballots. It's absurd. Like, I mean, these aren't ballots. These are the ballot applications. But still, like, it's so, the mail-in voting, the no-excuse mail-in voting is so toxic and bad. We already have an incredibly short election cycle from primary to election here. It's like 9 weeks or something. It's so short. The only debate we're having for governor is on October 20th, and early voting starts October 22.
Right.
So it's like, there's no time. People haven't even, like, heard of the candidate. It's so bad. And then for them on top of that to turn around and say, like, no, Republican city committee, we're not putting your people on the board of elections because you guys like Trump and therefore, like, you're not going to be fair at the election. So you're not allowed in the room anymore. It does make you kind of go, well, like, what are you doing that I can't even be in the freaking room with you while you're doing the elections? Like, I mean, is that something that's going to inspire trust and get people to trust the electoral process? Because a big part of what happened on January 6th is people felt upset because they felt that they were being excluded from the process. So if your answer to that is to exclude those people more from the process and do more of the things that they didn't think were trustworthy about the 2020 election in 2022, you're going to have more disgruntled and upset people. And even though I personally am not a big, like, election in Massachusetts is stolen person, I do know people that think this, and I have to tell you that, like, when I was at the GOP convention in May or whatever that was, that a lot of people brought that up. A lot of people that I wouldn't think, they were not like, these were not like MAGA rally looking people. These were like normal everyday people that are your neighbors and everything. And, you know, when I was just around chatting to people, that was like the first thing a lot of people said, like, my biggest concern right now is that elections are fair, because if the elections aren't fair and if they can steal whatever elections they want, there's no point in voting anymore. There's no point to any of this.
In response to Trump, many people who were once credible did the wrong thing knowingly.
Right.
And I have no doubt that they would see that as a situation, especially with somebody like Trump, where they need to step up and act like it's an emergency and keep somebody from getting voted in. There's no doubt. Now, I don't think it happened, or it didn't happen in large enough numbers to have thrown the last election, but I think they would in a second. There's no doubt. They did everything else. The media lied. Nobody did their jobs for 4 years.
Right, and it's not just the elections and in the media and all this stuff. It's not just the tech companies, and it's like the people with guns too. It's, you know, the 87,000 new IRS agents. It's this FBI stuff. This stuff's incredible. Did you see any of this story about the safety deposit boxes in? I
didn't see that. No, I saw the pastor.
These not safety, whatever it is. So
yeah, it's safety deposit boxes.
Yeah. So following a March 2021 FBI raid on the U.S. Private Vaults store in Beverly Hills that has been raising questions ever since, it now appears that the feds got their warrant for the action by neglecting to tell the judge who signed it they intended to keep every bit of loot pried out of every safety deposit box containing $5,000 or more in cash and prizes. So there's a company. There's a company here, U.S. Private Vaults in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
They have safe deposit boxes. That's what they do. That's their business.
Gotcha.
And the FBI raided them. So apparently this company, the safe deposit box company, was involved in some kind of money laundering. But the FBI went to a judge and got a warrant and said, we think there's like illegal activity in these boxes, so we need to be able to go into all the boxes in the building. And they lied to the judge when they did that, because what they didn't tell the judge was that they planned on keeping everything from all the boxes that had $5,000 or more.
There is no way.
This is true.
There is no way.
As the LA Times reports, the failure of the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office in LA to disclose the confiscation plan in the raid request was revealed in FBI documents and depositions of agents in a class action lawsuit by box holders who say the raid violated their rights. The specific information about the agency's alleged scheme to bag for themselves the contents of all $5,000 and over deposit boxes comes from recent testimony by a senior FBI agent. The raid, which the government justified on the presumption that hundreds of box holders were hoarding illegally gotten assets, was particularly intrusive.
Is there not an ACLU? Holy
They're
hell.
really concerned about trans stuff right now. They can't be bothered with things like this. Federal agents descending on the Olympic Boulevard strip mall location manhandled the personal belongings of a jazz saxophone player, an interior designer, a retired doctor, a flooring contractor, and Century City lawyers, among hundreds of others, notes the Times. They also made video and photo records of customers' most sensitive documents, pay stubs, password lists, credit cards, a prenuptial agreement, immigration and vaccination records, bank statements, and a will. They also discovered cremated human remains in one renter's box. Imagine they're grabbing somebody's dead parents out of their safe deposit box. Like, incredible. Incredible. It also found that the federal agents defied restrictions that U.S. Magistrate Judge Steve Kim set in the warrant when they searched through the box holders' belongings for evidence of crimes. The government did not know what was in the boxes, who owned them, or what, if anything, the people had done. Robert Frommer, a lawyer who represents 400 box holders, wrote in court papers. That's why the warrant application did not attempt to argue there was probable cause to seize and forfeit the renter's property.
Freaking incredible. They took the safety boxes. Safety box.
Right. So they've been going through this legal process now since March of 2021 is when this started to happen. So like right after Biden got in, basically. 3 months after that, the government was still itching to hold on to other people's money, asking a judge to let them keep an additional $154,000 in cash from one box holder and $330,000 from another because a drug sniffing dog alerted on the money. So the assistant U.S. attorneys argued the funds were drug related. Problems with that theory include the fact that at least 2 other vaults were used by licensed marijuana sellers, and that the scent
probably can't use banks,
right? So they have to use the safe deposit boxes.
Great,
and the scent could have spread from any of the cash in the bank where the government was storing all of its questionably confiscated bonanza.
What a friggin' bleep show.
For all the playtime cops and robbers, not one person has been sent to prison. U.S. private vaults shuttered and has to pay $1.1 million fine for laundering drug money, but the prosecutors acknowledged that they don't have the funds to pay it off. The FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office denied to the LA Times that the agencies misled the judge or ignored the warrant, saying the agents had no obligation to tell the judge they planned to ransack the privately rented boxes under the umbrella theory that every customer was a black market mastermind. FBI spokeswoman Laura I. Miller said the warrants were lawfully executed based on allegations of widespread criminal wrongdoing. So it's fine. Allegations of widespread criminal wrongdoing.
Of public safety.
We'll just go through your. We'll take your cremated parents and your hundreds of thousands of dollars. Sorry.
Seems shady.
The
dog barked, so it's ours now. Jesus. Jesus.
So, and then as if that story's not enough to make you suspicious of federal law enforcement, they went after this pro-life activist this week. Have you seen this story at all?
I've seen this. This is a Catholic guy or something, a priest
or
something?
So he's not a priest, but he's like an anti-abortion activist, right? So he goes with his kids and like stands outside abortion clinics, whatever. So, last year, or I think it was maybe late 2021, he got into an altercation with some kind of pro-abortion person who was there, like one of these like escort people who goes. And apparently, like, so he says the guy was yelling at his kid or whatever and got in his kid's face. The guy has 7 kids, a wife and 7 kids.
Gotcha.
So anyway, he got in some kind of argument with this person and pushed him.
Yeah.
So, and that, the guy sued him. No criminal charges were ever filed for it. It was not enough for like an assault charge or whatever, apparently. He pushed the guy. The guy filed a civil suit, which was thrown out. He never won his civil suit. Now, the federal government has decided that it's not enough that no criminal charges were filed by the local police or whatever. They've come back in now, whatever it is, a year later, and they said that they're going to use a law that says you can't obstruct people at abortion places. And they're coming after him. So the FBI raided his house with guns drawn in front of his 7 children to arrest him for pushing this guy last year.
Freaking incredible.
Which, like, I mean, so, and I know it's not technically double jeopardy because it's like a separate federal law and not the like assault and battery. And I'm not trying to defend that he pushed the guy. Like, he pushed the guy. I'm sorry.
But you don't need like the feds to handle that situation.
Right. This isn't under special laws. Like abortion places get special laws for pushing. Anywhere else he would have been fine to push the guy outside the grocery store, but not at the abortion place that has a special law. That seems screwed up and like politically motivated to me, doesn't it?
Of course it is.
So, and that's like the way the laws are written. But yeah, the FBI to me now is way out of control. Like, and the fact that a lot of this stuff is like starting in 2021 and all these things. And like, I mean, these things to me, like the safe deposit boxes is worse than the Mar-a-Lago stuff. And like
but it's right along, along the lines.
We've decided you're criminals. Sorry, we're just taking everything from you. Sucks to be you. I mean, that's incredible. That's incredible. They are way, way out of control. And I mean, like, I'm ready to burn the whole agency down,
that's the problem
metaphorically
is that they're, with Merrick Garland now, he's essentially drawing battle lines between American citizens and these feds. So, I mean, we've got a problem here. One of the things I didn't play from Bill Maher is he said, now suddenly the Republicans have a problem with the FBI. These guys are very straight-laced, and they shouldn't have a problem with it. It's like, it's not who we're talking about anymore. This is not the straight-laced G-man anymore. We're talking about a different animal totally now. Yeah. No bueno. No bueno.
Did you say there's some new Biden polls that you wanted to update us on?
It's just he's back down in the dumps on a recent ABC poll. And it once again, even though some Democrats have closed in places, generally, the economy is glaringly the most important issue to everybody. Inflation, the prices of things.
Right. And we have one more big month of economic numbers coming out. I think the stock market tanking is not a good sign either. And it's going to continue to go because as we continue to have big inflation numbers, the Fed's going to continue to come out with these big rate increases that are going to continue to drive the stock market down. This is the only way out of this. And I mean, I don't see how we get out of this without a recession at this point. What's up, honey?
So I can tell you I can promote the podcast I was on today. It is Montante's World, episode 99, featuring Tom Shattuck. Oh, sorry, my cold.
When does it come out?
It says burn barrel dynamic of working with younger hot wife as co-host. How does the Trump story end? Truth behind Cocaine Gate. Look into the hatred for David Cullinane. Fact fiction conspiracies with Shattuck. So there you go, Alice.
Is it up now?
It is up now. So
how exciting! I subscribe to Montante's World on Twitter, so I could hear your important appearance.
Listen to it. I swear a lot in it because I'm trying to be young and hip with young people. He's only 30, so.
Oh wow! Good for you. Yeah.
Yeah, since I'm an octogenarian, I figure that the young set likes it when you swear.
Who was
I generally do swear a lot. Don't I swear a lot?
No, I was talking to the kids about saying no cap, and yeah, they say no cap now. That's what the young people say. It means like no lie.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard that. I've heard Jay's kids say it, as a matter of fact. A certain Jay who worked at that hotel while I was working at that hotel. There's a hint for anybody who needs to know. Okay. Oh, actually, he was on the receiving end of requests for safety bucks, hundreds of times, as a matter of fact.
Wow, that's great.
Good afternoon. Thank you for checking into the la 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 la. How are you doing the safety bucks? Stern faces sometimes no. There was actually a guest who checked in with the front desk people. This is when I was a bellman. Front desk people were thrilled because his last name was Fukutom. And they thought that was just great. And that needed to be brought to my attention, and I needed to be bringing him to his room if possible because the synergy was just too good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, you ready?
So let's do a chat, and then we'll head over to the Patreon show where I have to tell people about a new job I'm going to be applying for.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, but first let's do the chat.
I'll press the button.
Okay. Jesus. Do you need me to play it?
Do you have it? Can you do it from there?
Actually, I don't think I'm plugged in the right way to the...
White Report and I bet on the Colts. Now they're most certainly going to lose. Way to go.
I don't know. I talked to Montante today about sports betting. He does it. He takes action. I believe illegally, but very loudly takes action. So if you need to, just email or to DM Montante. He's your guy. I didn't bet. I didn't see. I like the Colts just fine. I've grown to love Peyton Manning. I hated him during the highlight of the whole thing when I thought he was a petty jerk who was always yelling at his O-line. No, I like him.
Watched a little of the Pats game with my family today, actually.
Good game today, huh?
And with Jane's boyfriend, who was the only person there who wasn't faking his sports knowledge.
Oh, well, he must have. Did he see my Minahan appearance?
Yes.
Is he horrified or... Yeah, you guys...
They enjoyed it. They asked me lots of questions about stuff
that's
going on with it and whatever, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just think, unbeknownst to him...
And he asked if we're friends with Clemmer because he watches more of those, like, Barstool things that Clemmer's in or whatever. He, like, was wondering about that. Like, are you guys friends with that new Barstool guy? And it's like, he's kind of, like, out of the world now. Like,
he's out of Kirk's world anyway, but we messaged back and forth a few times some months ago. I mean, I like him.
I just like the movie show.
Yeah, I like him. Alice liked the movie show. She did an episode with him. And yeah, no, I wish that I would kind of wish that he would get back in Kirk's good graces, but there's a lot of factors
of bad blood
that
over
go
there.
into that, and I don't know. Kirk has been very vocal. If you need to know what his problem is with Clemmer, he's very vocal about it. You can listen to him. But yeah, no, I hope he's doing well. It seems like he's got an interesting gig. Maybe soon we'll be working for Barstool Boston. What do you think?
I don't think so.
What do you mean? I don't think so.
I don't think we'll be working for Barstool Boston.
Why don't you think so?
I don't know. I just don't think so.
Well, I'm working for Barstool Boston. All right.
Okay.
And I'm going to hang out on the couch and drink with the boys.
Okay.
Watch the indie game.
I'll clean the house.
So I was at the IU softball game, and one of the ladies...
Is that Indianapolis University, IU? We don't have
Indiana
colleges around
University?
here, Justin, and I don't know anything about sports.
It got a base hit, and I said, nice ass. And I said, I meant nice hit. Oh, boy.
Thoughts?
I don't have thoughts on that. I don't know.
You don't have thoughts on a man watching a softball game, the lady gets a hit, and instead of saying nice hit, he says nice ass, Alice.
I don't know. What do you want me to think about it?
I don't know. Are there any human beings out there who would like to emote about this? Please, leave your message in the chat.
Sorry.
Jesus.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Alice. It's Laurie from Stoneham.
Laurie. Do we know Laurie?
I'm not sure. Do we?
Stoneham, Massachusetts, home of the Spartans. The new home of my friend John Ward, who was my really only high school friend, other than Keith. And
is he living there
now? No, he did. He got exiled out of Winchester in high school and then went over to Stoneham. Oh. I lived next to Stoneham, as you know, Alice, when I lived in Dean Road in Winchester. Stoneham, Massachusetts, the home of Hago Harrington's mini golf, which is closing.
I heard.
Home of China Moon, which has closed. The one-time home of the Caldor I worked at, where I had to show up at 3:30 a.m. every morning and unload a truck at 4, where I've set the record for the company and got Employee of the Month. 1991. I still have the mug.
Congratulations.
Stoneham, Massachusetts looms large in my legend, Alice.
Okay. We'll take the kids on the tour.
I'm not sure if it's occurred to you or anyone else out there today, but I'm watching the Patriots game and the Bucks game.
Yep.
And I'm oddly missing the Cialis ads. These COVID ads are driving me crazy. Just wondering your thoughts.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder what is going on with that. I guess are they making more money now, these big pharma companies?
From COVID shots and stuff?
But is football fans the kind of people who get scared about COVID?
Probably older people.
Wow, that doesn't bode well, though. I mean, football, I would think, skews younger. It certainly skews male, but I think it skews younger. That's interesting, Laurie. I don't know what's happened to the government has incentivized
more than 50%
shots.
of NFL merchandise is purchased by women.
That's interesting. That's a great thought, Laurie. I'm not sure about that, but call the chat again. It's nice to hear your voice. Always love people from Stoneham, Alice.
I love people from Stoneham, too.
You are cold.
I'm not cold. What do you want me to say? Stoneham is really great.
I have no take on this.
There's a great Indian restaurant there.
What? No, there is not.
Yeah, the one our neighbor was at.
Oh, yeah, there is. That's right. Right down next to the fire station. Our neighbor ran that place. It was a great place.
Yeah, he
A
used to bring us
source
Indian
that's
food.
telling me.
Go ahead.
I said he used to bring us Indian food. And he made the chicken tikka masala like extra hot for you and stuff.
He was a great guy, and that was delicious. Delicious.
A source that's telling me that the Patriots have reached out to Jeff George with the injury towards Mac Jones, and he asked Mr. Kraft if it was okay to wear number 12. Your thoughts?
I like that. I think that's funny. I think Mac Jones, they said, apparently, although he limped off the game, which, by the way, they shouldn't have even given him medical attention after the puke job he pulled today. All those interceptions. Protect the football. Even Edelman burned him on Twitter. Wow. I had not heard that. I will welcome him. I mean, I don't care about anything about Mac Jones. I'm not really invested in the Pats anymore. I did check into the game, and just like the other last game I checked into, they were getting absolutely hammered. So they coughed it up. It was a bad showing.
The conversation at the game watching that I was at was more like, how do the football players know how far a yard is if they can't see the lines that we see on the TV? That was the level of sports discussion that was happening.
They have the pins
group.
in the sides where they can see how far they have to go. And so it's a big,
Yeah, Mike was explaining to everyone.
Oh, good. Mike's actually a real man, so he would know the stuff more than me. All right, Alice, can I play the outro music? Does that exist still? That is a Creative Commons song.
Yeah, but it's a Creative Commons for non-commercial use.
Oh, dang it. I love that song. Maybe we should get permission. It probably won't matter. We still can't get... Why is it...
You can get permission. We probably have to email the guy. He's on Twitter. I looked it up before.
Oh.
Probably have to pay him.
All right. Here's our dry outro.
You could use Jane's song.
Oh, yeah, but we use that after Patreon. Can you use it twice?
You could.
Could we? Well, it's not like hers is a bed.
Well, up to you. You can do what you want. But anyway.
Let's do it dry.
Thank you all for listening. We are going to head over to the Patreon show. You can find that at patreon.com/burnbarrel. You can also always find us for free on social media at burnbarrelpod on Twitter, facebook.com/burnbarrelpodcast. You can email us, burnbarrelpodcast@gmail.com, or you can go on to burnbarrelpodcast.com and find the chat button there where you can leave us a message and find a bunch of links to all the different places you can listen.
Mother Road.